That's kind of sad.
Put that in somewhere.
Yeah, that's, you'd think my fourth year. Anyways, this is a song about the author of that text, Walter Benjamin. Follow along, the tune stays the same, and we follow the actions as they progress. 1, 2, 3. Walter Benjamin had several friends, had Walter Benjamin, and they didn't laugh, and they didn't cry. All they did was go like this. Walter Benjamin had several friends, had Walter Benjamin, and they didn't laugh, and they didn't cry. All they did was go like this. From the left, Walter Benjamin had several friends, Walter Benjamin, and they didn't laugh, and they didn't cry. All they did was go like this. From the left, not the right. Walter Benjamin had several friends, Walter Benjamin, and they didn't laugh, and they didn't cry. All they did was go like this. From the left, not the right, from the left. Walter Benjamin had several friends, Walter Benjamin, and they didn't laugh, and they didn't cry. All they did was go like this. From the left, not the right, from the left, not the right. Walter Benjamin had several friends, Walter Benjamin, and they didn't laugh, and they didn't cry. All they did was go like this. From the left, not the right, from the left, not the right. Thank you. Okay.
I haven't done a sing-along in a good long time.
Okay.
Hot under those lights.
Yeah. And now I can see.
I know you can't see. So I think you should first critique us, because we were pretty good.
Yeah. I liked getting that rousing chorus for the second to last and last verse. And thank you for participating. I know it's difficult. First day back, and it's a Monday. So thank you for that. Thank you for indulging that relational experience.
Would you like to introduce the work, give us some context?
Yeah. So, fascinating research on Mr. Walter Benjamin about the friends that he had. Hannah Arendt, Bertolt Brecht, who played a huge influence in this staging and the dramatization. And yeah, just the people he hung out with. So I got really focused on Brechtian theater and what does that entail? Because if I'm doing a performance, I should go to a theater buddy. And Brecht and Benjamin had an interesting relationship. They hung out in Paris and had lots of dialogues. And Brecht was known for showing the mechanisms of a theatrical production. Visible lighting, harsh lighting, showing the stagehands, and acknowledging that the theater isn't going to compete with cinema. It's just not. Don't try and do this naturalistic performance where you're trying to draw in the audience into the emotional experience. If you're in the theater, they know they're in the theater, don't pretend otherwise. So that's the reasoning for setting up the hot lights, having a camera, having another camera show that camera. The third, and going into different reproductions, right, and different layers of representation of the same Brechtian performance.
Do you want to say a little bit of the song?
Yeah, the song I made up in the metal shop. I was getting a demonstration on the TIG welder, which involves using the left hand and the right hand and the foot. And I couldn't remember, I remember the action song from day camp and preschool and television, but I couldn't remember the name. And it's Father Abraham, and there's like the Bible camp version, which I never learned, but I found in my research, and like the secular version. And because I couldn't remember the name, I replaced it with Walter Benjamin. And I just thought that was hilarious. It's like, welcome to art school. Going to critical theory. And then the idea of taking a Bible camp song, something with a religious background, and applying it to be about critical theorists. It's just too good not to do anything about. So I did that, and that's the origin of it. Taking this religious song and making it into something secular and fun.
There's something really powerful about the action of taking the religious and making it secular, and that's going on a lot in modern, in contemporary dialogue, not just in the art world, but in the whole world in general, especially around Christmas time, the whole Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas.
Right.
What do you do when you have such sacred items and everyone's turning it secular, and what is this difference between sacred and secular and how they compare with each other? So it is really interesting conversation to have, which is why I thought it was cool to talk about it all day.
What's with the Nazi reference at the end?
He was persecuted by the Nazis, and so he was running around Europe trying to get away because he was Jewish. And the Frankfurt School all left Germany as well. So that's the element in being not from the Reich. And so it's a little more use of Nazi symbolism in the style of The Sound of Music, more than something else. There's just, it's part of the era in Europe, and put that in there.
So how does this work for you with your other work? I'm very curious because this is slightly different territory.
Yeah.
It accomplishes some of the same things, I think, that some of your other work tries to do. So yeah, I just want to talk about that a little bit. I'm feeling about that in relation to the approach to your other practice, to your other work, and
Yeah.
how you try to make it interactive and what you try to get out of it. But how's this working for you?
It's taking a few steps back. One of the things I noticed with this class is that a lot of people are stepping out of their usual practice and taking like a break or a vacation from that.
Right.
And why not do that? I'm so focused on digital and new aesthetic. Why not go back to theater and film language, take a step back into that, while still bringing in interactive element, but in the old style, in an action song, in an old-timey sing-along, because that's what people used to do,
Right.
engage.
Right. I think it's also interesting in terms of Walter Benjamin's text, thinking about mechanical reproduction and his, his whole interest in how interaction and engagement change and alter once we start reproducing things and mechanizing things. So for you to return to a kind of, sing-along setting where we're all just in a room together and nothing is remote, it's kind of interesting. Were you thinking about that particularly, or is that just did that just kind of happen?
It was something that came along just in the reading about Brecht, and watching videos from the National Theatre and dramaturges explaining epic theater and the relation
Right.
to, and then making the connections to mechanical reproduction, art in the age of mechanical reproduction, and figuring out where Brecht's theories come from. This piece is just, I think it's just as much about Brecht as it is about Benjamin. It was just a conduit into this performance idea and the theatrical.
Right.
Although you mentioned, you're veering away from your usual use of technology.
Mhm.
Although I see a GoPro, I see an
That's
SLR
true.
camera,
Yeah.
I see your phone is on a tripod, acting as if it's another GoPro. And I love this magnificent use of technology to record and establish something that is a throwback to the past. It's like the best of both worlds coming together here. So I think it's definitely a good combination of what you're used to doing and stepping into something new while still incorporating your expertise.
Yeah, it's that blend of theater and cinema and then contemporary technology.
Yes, yeah.
Because it's like, there was the decision to use the big halogen lights because they're brighter, because Brecht was known for harsh lighting. And the idea is that the framing on the GoPro includes the DSLR, right? So it goes into that Brechtian, showing the mechanics, yeah. And yeah, I thought it'd be interesting to do something theatrical. My sister's a huge drama nerd, and when I told her about this presentation, I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be Brecht meets Blue's Clues. Immediately she laughed, she got it right away. I didn't have to go and, she studied Brecht and has directed in a Brechtian style before, so. Yeah, it was just kind of a fun way to engage in something new and kind of fall into that peer pressure thing. But everybody else is doing it.
I was watching a Marilyn Monroe movie. It's an awful movie. But I was noticing that there's a scene in like a class, and they're sitting in the back, and there's one of the characters is playing guitar, and everybody's sort of singing along or whatnot. And I sort of think about how accepted it is in the film versus, the sort of environment that we have on, say, Greyhound or anything like playing your guitar or singing in a public space, how that would be differently sort of received. And I'm just like, I guess I'm wondering at which point was the transition into, it's totally acceptable and we'll come to, do these things freely in public, and versus now that we have technology, everything's like, quiet and restricted and shut up and I don't want to hear your music, and it's like, before it was like everybody knew a set of songs, now it's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
the standards, right?
Yeah.
I think it's specifically an urban phenomenon that a sing-along wouldn't happen on transit. Happened to me once. I was coming home from downtown and I just had a bike accident, and so I was in shock and drunk and all of these things. And there was a sing-along on the subway car and ukuleles and all this stuff, and it's just this impromptu happening. And if I hadn't recorded it, I wouldn't have believed that it was a thing. I would have thought it was a hallucination. But yeah, the people doing it were from New Zealand. They were in town because they did the first movie done in Maori, and it was at TIFF. And then they were going back out to Etobicoke because that's where they were staying.
Right.
And for them, just to have sing-alongs, the one guy just carries a ukulele with him and starts sing-alongs everywhere. It's a completely different approach to interacting in public that we lose here. I thought it was fun. I'm all about participation stuff and interaction and social experiencing. So. But it's not something you see here. So I think to answer your question, it's happened in the last 50, 60 years, but it's a really urban thing. People kind of isolate and alienate themselves to the cities more elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get embarrassed really easily, so I think, you know, being part of the sing along would be tough for me to get into, but it would be much better than, you know, what we're doing now, just like isolating ourselves.
So how did this feel for you? Or
I was definitely nervous about it, and going into it, I just kept trying to make it more complex. This has been this song has been in my head for a month, and trying to bring in more of a history lesson, it wasn't working because the song is so simple and so compact that it's hard to add anything to it.
right.
I just think would I have to pause and then give a brief biography of the people that I'm mentioning. And then as I was watching more videos about Brecht and examples of Brechtian performance, I realized that no, it's less is more, right? I shouldn't be adding to this, I should be stripping it down. And so I just went with the repeating but